Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and today is Monday. It is July 21st, and the only Motivation Monday quote that I want to tell you, or not a quote specifically, but to do your fucking job. That's it. It's not a quote, okay? You just need to do your responsibility. Every single day, you get up, you go to a job that you are being paid for, and there is a input and an output. Okay, you putting in, you expect money out. You need to do your job. Okay, I have seen quite a few TikToks as of last night about people bragging, being very braggadocious about not doing their jobs. Specifically the jobs that they're being paid to do. Also, a lot of people who are talking about being excessively late to work. That is not appropriate, guys. Okay. And they were like, it's never going to stop. I'm going to keep going. It's just like, actually, it will stop. Somebody is going to do something about your excessive tardiness. Somebody is going to do something about your ass calling out all the time. They are going to do something about it. Okay. You just ain't met the right person, or your company is building up enough information so that they can come back and get rid of your ass. Okay. Because people do that too. Let you have enough rope to hang yourself, okay? Tardiness, not staying on task. I mean, that's like a recipe. You basically giving us a meal to cook, okay? And to cook you. So make sure that you have your ass at work. Make sure that you are on time. And also make sure that you are on task, okay? Now, fuck that job all the way. Meaning we're not going to allow that job to affect us mentally and emotionally, but you still have to go to work and do what you need to do, because we live in a society where you need what? Capital. You understand? You need money. So you cannot live for free. Doesn't matter what job you are in, you are still going to have to follow whatever the rules are in that job. Okay. Now, last night, I posted a post about PIPs, and I got a lot of questions. So I'm going to be pulling a lot of the content from there. The remainder of this episode is going to be inside of Patreon. For those of you who are listening to this Motivation Monday, make sure you remember what I said. Take your ass to work, do what you're supposed to do. And for everybody else who's inside of Patreon, y'all stick around. We are going to be discussing the PIPs, all of the questions that are underneath that post, and then also reading some emails. So everybody else, y'all have a good ass day. For those of you who are inside of Patreon, we finna talk. All right, Patreon. So let's talk about PIPs, because there are a lot of questions. We have 562 comments on Facebook. Now, this is just on Facebook. This is not Instagram. This is only Facebook. So let's talk. The post says, if they put you on a PIP, get you a new JOB. Okay? Your ass ain't coming off. You will be fired very soon. Okay? And I hope y'all hear exactly what I'm saying. There is no coming back after a PIP. Even if you do, okay? Everything that you do after that point will be scrutinized. They're going to be paying so much attention to you, and everything that you do, everything that you say, everything that you don't say will be magnified. You understand? You are going to be under strict guidance for the rest of your time with this company. I do not advise that. Okay. I understand that some people want to hold on to this job, but baby, when you get put on a PIP and you come off of it, everything that you do after that is going to be a reflection of that. They're always going to go back to the PIP and say, well, she was on a PIP. Like, we saw that she wasn't performing as she should. And now we're back here again. So it could be a possibility that they'll put you on another one. One of the questions that I got was, can you be put on a PIP without your knowledge? Now, I have not seen it happen. I'm sure that somebody listening is going to say, I was put on a PIP without being told, but I have never done that myself as a manager. And then also, I've never seen that happen inside of a workplace. Like, if you're issued a PIP or someone is put on a PIP, You are being monitored. Y'all have weekly follow-ups. There's a lot of conversation happening, and they may call it other things. Like I think someone said they called it like a CED, or, just an improvement plan, like not necessarily a PIP where it says performance improvement plan, but anything that is tracking your daily responsibilities and seeing whether or not you met those goals every day, that is a PIP. Okay, it's the same thing. No matter the term, it's the same shit. Okay. If you are put on one of those and they are tracking what you do every single day, baby, you are on a PIP. You understand? So please do not confuse it with anything else. That's exactly what it is. If you have been put on a PIP without your knowledge, that is a little bit murky, because how am I supposed to improve if you're giving me a PIP without telling me that I'm on one? That does not seem very ethical. I also don't think that there are a lot of companies who would go that route, because the PIP is meant to protect the company. It shows that they have done everything to support you in that time and made sure that the goal, or whatever goals you're supposed to meet, were public. Like, everybody knows about this. Not everybody, but you, the company, your direct manager, supervisor, director, whoever it is that you report to, y'all are on the same page. And so is HR. Like, that's the communication triangle that needs to happen. Your direct manager, HR, and you. So that's who should be in the know regarding the PIP. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot be put on the PIP without your knowledge. I'm sure there are shady ways for people to do things, but I'm just telling you, I have never done that to anyone, put somebody on a PIP and never communicated with them. That's actually very inappropriate. You should have a triangle of communication, okay? Your direct manager, HR, those two come to an agreement on whether or not you should be put on a PIP, and then they present it to you. That's the process. But for some of these businesses, if they opt out, they can. There's no law surrounding the PIP also. That was another question that I saw. Like, do they have to give you a certain amount of time? They could say it got to be, 2 weeks, that you have to completely shift and meet these standards. They can say that. Most companies, I would say a 90-day time frame, and 90 days just basically gives you time enough to find you a new place of employment. I'm going to just tell you, literally, right? If you are someone who wants to stick it out and see if you can get unemployment, that's a gamble, because after this is all said and done, the state where you apply for unemployment is going to reach out to that company, and they're going to say, hey, was this person fired because of things that they were or were not doing? Like, what was happening? And then they're going to give them the PIP, and then the state is going to determine that you're not eligible for unemployment. That's what happens. That was another question. Somebody said, leave, do not pass go, do not collect unemployment. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Take your ass on, find you another job, even if it's just a bridge. It's just a bridge until you get to your next place of employment. That's fine too. But you need to do something. This is not a time where you need to be a sitting duck. Do not wait for them to possibly bring other opportunities. Like, you need to figure something out, and you need to figure it out quick. Let's see. I got another question. Somebody said, go ahead and start looking. You ain't lying. They tried it in March. Can you say updated resume? Only thing saved me was transferring department. If I may ask, what is a PIP, ma'am? I'm new to this. Please don't judge me. I just answered that question. It's a performance improvement plan. So PIP is a company baseball bat, and the letter I is a lie. Meaning that they really don't want your ass to improve. This is just a notice. Okay. Hey girl, we about to get your ass up out of here. Let me see. This is all Facebook. Let me see if we got some new questions. PIP, it's a performance improvement plan, y'all. Performance improvement. Jesus. This one says, oh, nah, I beat it at 2 jobs. I quit the first one, been at the second one for 2 years. Good for you, Kayani. Good. Good for you, girl. That is not the story. That's why we got 500 comments. It happens periodically, but everyone is not that fortunate. I want us to know that there's a possibility, but we don't know. All the more reason why we need to be very proactive. Let me see. It's definitely a paper trail. Yes. Okay. Got put on a PIP from a manager that knew absolutely nothing about my role, and I survived the messy manager. And here I am clocking in 3 years later and said manager was terminated as soon as they moved them from a management role to a team role. Everyone knew. Mm-hmm. Okay, Amber, I like it. I like it. Someone says, now that I think about it, the only employee ever put on a PIP did eventually get fired. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, seriously. What's a PIP? Seriously, is that an insurance Y'all don't piss me off today. Don't piss me off today. Okay? Somebody said FMLA saved me. Let's talk about this. FMLA, okay? In the face of a PIP, some people opt for another acronym, okay? FMLA, right? Wow, that is great. Okay, that is a good resource for you to get some time at home where you can actually interview. FMLA, it doesn't necessarily protect you from being fired, number one. Okay, it also ends. You have to come back. So if your FMLA is for 6 weeks, your ass is still coming back, and that PIP is still going to be on your desk. It's going to be waiting on your ass when you get back. So it doesn't necessarily take away the PIP. All it does is stall the process, but they're still going to be actively trying to manage you out or document you out of the workplace. So that's what I have to say to the FMLA talk. There's a lot of people talking about FMLA as an HR manager. She is absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Is this the same thing as a final warning or something? Yes. Consider it a warning. Okay. There may have been verbal conversations that happened up until this point, but baby girl, we're transitioning now. Okay. We done had conversations. Some things may have got put on paper to kind of document that there was a conversation to have you get your shit together. And now we're here. Now, there are some people who are put on the PIP, and it's, I don't know what that was. Please unplug this device to continue. I don't know what that is. But there are some people who are put on PIPs and it's retaliatory. Like they're already going through a situation with the manager. The manager is basically lying, right? Really trumping up the charges to justify the PIP. And that's a totally different situation that kind of goes along with the pet to threat conversation that we were having last week, where you do one little thing and it's magnified. It's made to be a larger issue than what it really is. And then that's when you kind of have to be like, you're retaliating against me, right? It's a totally different conversation and it matches last week, but it is considered a final warning. Let me see. Amazon was notorious for this. I did hear this a lot about Amazon. I also heard this a lot about Target. Amazon, Target, and there was another chain. It wasn't Publix. I want to say it was Kroger that I heard that about, but let's see. When I was a manager, we put people we wanted to save on a PIP. Everyone else was given a verbal, written, final, or term. So that's a different way to do these things. Like the comment to that comment says that it sounds counterproductive. That's what I'm saying. If you want to save people, don't put them on a PIP at all, because that follows you throughout your career with this company. It doesn't exit the company. Nobody else outside of the company knows unless they reveal that, but it stays with you. And if you want this person to stay with you, you want this person to grow with the company, why would you put them on a performance improvement plan? It's actually negative. I do not see it as a positive thing at all. I know it probably initially started out that way to kind of motivate people, but the way that management, the way that senior management has used PIPs against people, that's what has turned it to um, a negative thing in the workplace. It does not seem positive at all. You put me on a PIP, then I know that I'm not meeting the standard, right? And also, y'all are trying to get me up out of here. Let's see. This is a fact. I mean, the day you get put on one, start applying for somewhere else or take FMLA during that time to make sure that you are able to interview. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all. Let me see. It's a lot of questions about what is a PIP, but oh my God. Confirmed. I used to hate filling out those. The form just repeats itself. I'm a manager and I do not like presenting any type of disciplinary actions, but if I do, it's definitely warranted. And I do my best to assist employees in a meeting that talks about metrics, goals for everything except attendance. I can't pick up employees to get to work on time. That's their responsibility. Exactly, Miss Tanya. I agree. She is not lying. Mm-mm-mm. Um, Lord have mercy. The people in here talk about what is a PIP. I feel like that's like 200 comments of what is a PIP. Oh my God. Let me see. I was a victim of this. Yes. In today's job market, Brandy, the millennial manager, is absolutely correct. It's great to see so many leaders in the chat express the proper way to utilize a PIP for skill and development growth. However, you are a needle in a haystack. More often than not, thank you, Miss Tiffany. They are used as a conduit to terminate, scare tactic, intimidation, and or building a file to support unethical practices. Either way, if you don't have a supportive manager, then a plan, shut your mouth. Hit up LinkedIn and turn in your notice. If I feel away, I always leave on my own terms. Glory be to the Most High God. Thank you, Tiffany. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. For those of you who are like, that's not true, it is true. Clearly, there are people saying that I was a victim. I was fired. This is accurate as an HR manager. And then finally, what Miss Tiffany is saying, this is actually true, guys. Okay. So hopefully, y'all never have to deal with it. But I'm going to just tell you, in my honest opinion, the minute that you are on somebody's radar in that way, it's time for you to exit because it's not going to end well for you at all. One of my previous employees called me last year to let me know they were put on a PIP. She reached out to me for advice and told me they did this even after they gave her a promotion. I told her to request a waiver so that she can apply elsewhere within the agency. She did that, and now she is out of her probationary period with all of this stuff going on. I'm glad she followed through. I love, first of all, that is an option. If you work in a company that is large enough where you can request a waiver, move to a different department, move to another location altogether, and it fares well, I love that is an option. The issue is that a lot of companies don't necessarily have that option at play, or that people don't know. So I appreciate you, Miss Cassie, for highlighting that is an option as well. A PIP is intended to be a tool, but it's often used as a weapon, and in the wrong hands, it is deadly. For me, the layoff followed was a gift. There was no way to win. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Okay? I came off mine and I was still in training, and it was basically the stipulations to get out of training. I passed. Regina, you better go, girl. You better go. What's a PIP? I'm newly retired. Why are y'all pissing me off today? If you retire from corporate America, there's no way you have no idea. Let me hush, because y'all about to irritate me. Let's find us some fucking emails. All right, our first email, it says changes to time expectations. I work a remote online school job. that has been flexible or extremely flexible until recently. We were allowed to work flexible hours to meet the demands of our students until recently, where they shared with us that now we would have to work a standard 8 to 5 p.m. job with some hours in the evenings and on the weekends. Just a little background, I have been working 2 jobs for my own personal reasons, one during the day and one in the evening. This one being in the evening. I am salary, and I was told that if I'm unable to meet the new time expectations, that they are asking for a voluntary resignation. I don't quit jobs, no performance issue is at hand. For now, I have a good rapport with my manager. Am I missing an angle here as to why they would ask for a voluntary resignation opposed to just laying me off? This has been mentally distressing for the past couple weeks for the least, or to say the least. So any perspective on this will be extremely helpful. Okay, Benny, I'm gonna tell you something that you don't want to hear. Okay, Benny, you're gonna have to work the hours of operation. So if the company has shifted the hours of operation, you have to go with the flow of the hours of operation. You are paid a salary, okay? And what you once could do, you no longer can. And you're going to have to accept that, okay? And decide, number one, whether or not you are going to continue working for this company because it is an inconvenience to you, or, right? If you're going to stay here, you can work. But if it is an inconvenience and you don't want to shift, you're going to have to resign. The reason why they're not going to lay you off is because there's no reason to lay you off on the company's end. They set a time, that's it. A layoff means that they are laying you off because it's something with the company. It's not. If you do not, if you're not able to work the time that they're giving you, you're going to have to voluntarily resign. And if it poses an issue where you're not showing up during that 8 to 5, then they can reserve the right to terminate you, not lay you off. So layoffs are given in the event that there's something happening with the company where they cannot support the amount of people that they previously did. Maybe the company is not doing well, or the organization is not doing well, whatever. But that's not the case. They just shifted the hours and required the standard 8 to 5. And you're having an issue with getting to work during that standard time. So you're going to have to make a decision on, can you work this other job or change your hours at this other job to where they flip? If that is not a possibility, then you have to make a decision. But it's the hours of operation, babe. I mean, you can't really shift or change a company's hours of operation. That's the hours. And this is what we have to work. So you have to decide whether or not it's going to be something that you're going to be able to keep up with. Unfortunately, that's just one of them things. I'm going to tell you that I don't really have an issue there. These are the hour operations. I know when you started, this is what it was, but it's no longer like that. And so that's when you have to make a decision of whether or not you're going to be able to remain with the company and follow the rules that have been given. If not, then you have to make a decision that it's no longer serving you. I need to exit. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having to exit. But don't expect them to do you any favors and lay you off so that you can collect a check. They're not going to do that. Okay, I know you were in good graces with your manager, but that means nothing when it's between you and the company. You understand? Thank you. Have a good ass day. Okay, so for our next email, this one says, I have recently started following you and I really enjoy your videos. Thank you very much. Thank you, Betty. I appreciate that. I've been in my company for 7 years, and at the beginning of June, I was abruptly moved to a new area, still doing the same job, but this location did things differently than what I was used to. My second week there, I got written up because I yelled at a tech. Then I was presented with a performance paper. Since I am new to the area, they claim today I was given a second write-up because I sent an email to my manager asking her to stop emailing me the same thing. When I I already resolved the problem. So I got written up because she got in her feelings and went to our manager. I asked the manager, why didn't she come to talk to me about it? She interpreted the email how she wanted to. That's not professional. That's personal. So I don't know if I should fight this or just leave, because the crazy thing is I've been with the company for 7 years, no write-ups until I got into this new area. I've already started applying for new jobs, but this is crazy. I do my job and I don't bother anyone. Shall I file a complaint with the EEOC or HR or anything? Not really sure what to do besides pray. Betty, my girl, first of all, you should not be yelling at anybody, okay? If you cannot communicate in a calm voice to these other adults that you are working with, then you shouldn't be in a leadership role. I don't know if that's your position. I don't know if that's your position or not, like as a leader. But number one, let's address the first thing. You yelled at somebody at work. That's very inappropriate. Then you were presented a performance paper, which I guess is like a performance improvement plan. Since you're new to the area, they claim, and then they gave you a actual write up. So the first thing was a performance improvement. Like, this is where we want to see you. It's not a write up. It's a warning, okay, that you are going to be terminated eventually. Then your boss gave you the second write up, or what you're saying is the second write up, that was sent to your email, asking her to stop, or when you asked her to stop emailing you, the same thing. It sounds like to me that they are trying to document you out of there. I'm not sure why you transferred to this new location, but it probably was not a good idea. It seems like there's something else happening between you and this manager. There's not a lot of information there. It just seemed like y'all two are just not clicking, and you got written up within maybe a day of like being within this facility. And then now you're getting a performance improvement plan, and you've been with the company for so many years and have not experienced this. I don't know why you moved to this new department or new location, but if I were you, I would try to see if I can go back to where I used to work to get from under this manager to buy you some time. But if she already put some write-ups on you and you haven't been there that long, to me, it sounds like they're trying to get rid of you, my friend. You can go to HR and let them know that you're feeling attacked, that you feel harassed because she's constantly emailing you about things that you've already corrected. You can go that route, but I don't know what your relationship is with this manager and how y'all got to this space. So I'm interested to know how you just got there. It's only the 20th when you sent this email. Today is the 21st. It ain't been that long. So what could have possibly happened other than you yelling at somebody? Like, what happened between you and her that kind of got y'all here? I think that's the part that I need to know, because there are some pieces missing. Also, I'm going to tell you another thing. Just because you were doing great at this other location for 7 years did not mean that you were not doing wrong. Okay? I'm going to just tell you, just because you're at this other location and doing great and did not have any issues, that just means that that environment just did not address certain things. But maybe this environment is a little bit different, and the way that you conducted yourself there in the previous place of employment is not necessarily how you should be conducting yourself here. That could be an issue too. So I want you to kind of look inward and see what you're missing, and see if there's a way for you to turn this around. If you would like to have a conversation with your HR, absolutely. As long as you feel like this is a supportive HR department. But you also seem like you're looking to step out. I mean, you said that you've been applying for other jobs and trying to find other opportunities. So you may not even want to remain there. But you have a lot of options. Either you need to go back to your previous location, go to HR, right, and let them know that you feel harassed, and that kind of opens up a case possibly with you for consulting the EEOC. But there has to be a little bit more there, even for the EEOC to kind of support a claim. There has to be like documented harassment, racial tensions. Like it has to be something that is so cut and dry that a dog could even be like, this is wrong for the EEOC to do anything. And we know that right now with the current administration, the EEOC is not necessarily a resource because they are slowing things down because they're understaffed. I mean, they can't really do anything right now. So that's where you're kind of gonna, run into a wall with that. So I need some more information. How are you conducting yourself at this previous job? Were you yelling at people there? Did you think that was okay then? Did nobody correct you there? Like, there's a little more background than what these couple sentences are giving me. So I hope that you reach out with some further information so that we can kind of sit down and talk about it and figure it out in our next podcast episode that comes out on Friday. So I hope to hear back from you soon. And I hope everything works out for you guys. As far as today, this podcast episode is over. I hope that y'all have a wonderful, wonderful Monday inside of Patreon, a wonderful Wednesday if you are everywhere else. And either way, don't fuck up nobody else's day because yours is messed up. You understand? Do what you need to do at your job, just like the beginning of our podcast episode, and make sure that you're doing things that you're actually supposed to be doing and not anybody else's job, and arrive on time. Okay? So I hope y'all have a good ass day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.